All right, eggheads, let's keep rocking and rolling now with some homegrown Atlanta favorites. We got 3 amazing chefs coming up. First coming up is Suzanne Vizethann, followed up by Deborah Von Trace, and then closing it out strong, Nick Leahy. So, first guest up, Suzanne is a chef, restaurateur, and author with the Buttermilk Kitchen. Welcome to the Buttermilk Kitchen, who also owns the same restaurant by the same name, Buttermilk Kitchen. Look at those biscuits, delicious. Suzanne, come on down, chef. I'm dying to see what you have cooking today.
How you doing?
I am great, chef. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure.
Well, we are going to be doing something really special. 2 things, actually. So we're going to do a country ham biscuit with red-eye gravy. And that is going to go with a grilled apple butter old fashioned. Old fashioned is one of my favorite cocktails. And it just goes with the season. It's apple season right now. So we're going to have a lot of fun.
You could have stopped at biscuits, ham, and bourbon. That's the holy trinity, if you ask me. So without further ado, chef, take it away.
All right.
I'll be back.
All right, so first thing I'm going to do is we are going to put these biscuits onto our egg. I have this at 350. It's indirect heat. And I also have a pizza stone here preheated. And I'm just going to set my biscuits. These are buttermilk biscuits, our drop biscuits that we are famous for at the restaurant. Just going to set those right on the stone. These are going to take anywhere from like 15 to 20 minutes. And I'm just going to start off, we'll do 5. And these are going to be our vehicle for our country ham biscuit. Close the lid. And then I'm going to prepare my apples. These are going to go into our apple old fashioned. So I've got some young Fuji apples right here from the farmer's market. And this is actually a really good way to use your scraps of apples if you wanted to, but we just want to yield a little bit of juice from these apples that we are actually going to put into our cocktail. So I'm just going to cut up just about 1 apple and about 1/2 inch dice. And you want to save a couple pieces for the garnish. And I'm going to make a little foil pack here. So I just have some aluminum foil. And I'm going to put my apples right here in the center. Build up some sides. And I'm just going to add just a splash of water so they don't dry out. And some brown sugar. Go right on top of those apples. And you want to close up this little foil pack. And I'm going to put them in the same egg as I have my biscuits. Just put them right here off to the side. Those, you want to go down about 10 minutes on those. So now I'm going to put together my apple old fashioned. I've got my apples in here that I'm just rendering the juice off of. They've been in here for about 10 minutes. And you're really only looking for about 1/4 cup. I'm going to put that right into the cocktail shaker. And what's also nice too is this, since this is warm, it's kind of apple juice that we made, it's going to melt our apple butter. So it's apple season. I always make a fresh batch of apple butter. So I'm going to put about 1 tablespoon in here. If you like it a little sweeter, you can do 2. Then I've got some orange bitters. Just going to do about a dash or 2 of that. And one of my favorites, our friends over at American Spirit Whiskey, ASW, this is their rye resurgence. I'll do 1.5 ounces. But you can do any bourbon or whiskey that you like. And we are just going to give that a shake. Shake that up again. We're just sort of melting that apple butter. And I've got a cocktail glass here full of ice. Pour that right over the top. And just top it off with a little bit of club soda, about an ounce. And for garnish, I have just some of that apple we saved. I'm just going to do a couple real thin slices. Put that right off to the side. And a cinnamon stick for extra garnish and also as a stirring stick. And there you have the apple butter, grilled apple butter, old fashioned. All right, so my biscuits have baked about 20 minutes. We had them on 375 indirect heat with a preheated pizza stone. They came out awesome. Here they are right here. Beautiful, beautiful biscuits. Such an awesome way. I love baking with my big green egg. A lot of people don't, it's a really underutilized method on the egg, but it's just amazing. So again, here's our biscuits, and this is going to be the vehicle for our country ham biscuit. We are going to do a country ham with a red-eye gravy. It's one of my favorite ways to start the day. Over here we've got some speck. It's a country ham from our friends over at Pine Street Market, and we're just going to put this in our preheated cast iron right here. Now I have direct heat at 375, and I had my cast iron preheated, and I'm going to add the country ham, and I just want to get some color on it. I have about 3 or 4 ounces. I'm going to kind of render out that fat. These are pretty fatty and they're sliced really thin, which is really important when you're doing a country ham biscuit. And I just want to get a little bit of color but start to render off that fat. Now if the fat doesn't start to render, you can also add a little bit of butter to help speed along that process. But again, we're just looking for a little bit of color. And I'm going to build a red-eye gravy on top of that. A red-eye gravy is just a really southern gravy. It's really just essentially a coffee gravy. And you build it in the pan that your ham was cooked in, so you can actually get all the flavors from the ham. So we're gonna check on this. Now, as you can see, starting to get a little bit of color. Some of that fat's rendering off. It's looking really, really good. Just gonna turn it all over. So that cooked down a little bit more, about another minute or so. And we're going to slice open these beautiful baked biscuits. Again, these are our drop buttermilk biscuits. I'm just going to take a serrated knife. This is a bread knife. Really important to use when you're cutting breads that can fall apart easily. Just cut all the way through. And open that up. Check on our ham again. So this looks good. I'm going to take it off. I'm really, essentially, the ham's fully cooked, so I'm really just heating it back up and getting a lot of nice flavor in this pan so we can make our gravy. Red-eye gravy, really, really simple. Couple ingredients. I've got a really strong French press brewed coffee. I'm going to add about a half a cup to glaze the pan with that. I'm going to add some bone broth, about a tablespoon. Add a little brown sugar for sweetness. Take a wooden spoon and just get all the little bits of the pan. And you just want to cook it down a couple minutes. Let it reduce, let it thicken up a little bit. And I've got some Dijon mustard here that I'm going to put on the base. So I'm going to put that down, about a tablespoon on the bottom, about a tablespoon on the top piece. And this is really, really important. This is kind of the umami of the dish. These are roasted tomatoes, and I just roasted these off 250 degrees for about 2 hours. Just sliced them, a little olive oil, salt, and balsamic vinegar for a little bit of sweetness. I'm going to put that down right at the bottom. And we're going to check on our gravy. And as you can see, it's reducing down. It's getting thick, almost like a syrup. I'm going to pour that right on top of my ham that I cooked off and just mix that into it. Really good flavor. And just start to build my sandwich. So put the slices down. Top of those tomatoes. And again, at this point, you could really add or subtract whatever you like. An egg on here is really good sometimes. Some fig jam would go really, really well. I like to keep it simple. I don't like to do too sweet. And I'm just going to do a couple pieces of sharp cheddar cheese to kind of bring this all together. Put the lid on top. And we're going to place it right back in here just to melt that cheese. And get ready to plate the dish. And I've got some of that extra gravy that I made. I'm going to put that right here if you want to dip the sandwich in. Plate. Yeah, it looks great. Just lift it off. Put that straight down. And we are ready for breakfast. Country ham biscuit with red-eye gravy and cheddar. David, can you come taste it for me?
Yes, please, and thank you. All right, so I'm gonna dig in here.
Please do.
Country ham. Oh, I'm excited about
and if
this.
you really want to be a boss, you can
okay,
dip,
I mean,
dip
I
in
like
that gravy.
I like being a boss. Red-eye gravy coming right up.
Oh, that's a good bite.
Wow, that is amazing. That sweetness from the country ham, the sharpness from the cheddar, the flakiness of that buttery biscuit. Your biscuit game.
Thank
Her
you.
biscuit game is very, very, very good. Highly enjoy that. It's just amazing. And that bitter kind of savory note from that red-eye gravy. Nothing screams south like red-eye gravy. And the drink. How can I forget the drink? The wonderful aroma of bourbon. Is there anything sweeter? I think not. I definitely get the smokiness and the apple, that sweetness in there, but it's not too sweet. It's very balanced. And that bourbon just hits you right in the back of your throat, as it should. So that right there is a winner country ham cheddar biscuit dinner. Yes. Chef Deborah, what do you have cooking for us? The masses would love to know.
Hey, David, if it looks like a duck, swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
And I'll be making smoked pear Bellinis.
Well, it looks like we're having duck. Quack, quack. Chef, thank you so much. Make sure to pick up her cookbook. Welcome to Buttermilk Kitchen. If you don't have it, shame on you. And check out those amazing biscuits at the same restaurant name, Buttermilk Kitchen. Thank you so much, Chef. You are a rock star.